Talk to him.
Scary with Melanie P. That's scary with Melanie P. Come on. Here we go.
Ghetto. I just really stopped the music with my toe. Oh my God. Welcome to another episode of the That's Scary with Melanie P podcast. I am your host, Melanie P, here today. I am excited to have another episode for you guys. We are going to jump right into things. We have a special guest, a longtime friend of the show who hasn't been here in a while, but we're excited. Wow. It's been a while. It's been a while since Lambo has graced.
I know everybody's missed me a little bit, so I'm glad to be back.
Here we go. You starting early, child. Yeah, it's been a while since you've been on the show, man. What's been up? Where you been?
I've been in hibernation.
What does that mean? Are you a bear?
Just not, just doing the normal things. Man cave and just normal.
Have you been listening to the show? Any episodes?
A number of episodes.
What's been your favorite episode so far? Let's test.
Well, I would say Sheldon's episode was always good.
What episode was
Alpha
that?
Man.
Please. Oh my God.
So there's a lot of different conversations can come from that.
So weird. It's good to have you back, man. It's so good to have you back. You've been gone for a while, but welcome back to the podcasting studio. You know, we always start each show with a mental health check-in. I am feeling good. Actually, I was just saying to myself in the car earlier today, tomorrow is hump day. So every day closer that it gets to Friday, I get more and more and more excited. I know that's so horrible. It's just bad. It's just so bad. I think I said this before on another episode. It's horrible to live for Friday, but I don't care. I live for Friday. Tomorrow's Wednesday, so it's like a superhero. You know what I'm saying? Like my kryptonite is like Sunday night and Monday, but then I start getting more of my spinach, more of my like pep in my
just
step.
Record a few more podcasts, that'll make your week go by better.
Yeah, I start getting my energy, my groove back. Like I start getting my spinach. Like it's like I feel like what's his name? Popeye. And like Wednesday that can cracks open, Thursday the top opens, and then Friday all the spinach comes out, man. That's how I feel. But I'm feeling good. I'm feeling blessed. I'm feeling happy. The weather's good. I'm excited about this episode, honey. Let me just say this. This episode is an episode that I did not prep too much for, and I do not have an outline, so y'all bear with us. It's gonna be an interesting one. I'm gonna save what the episode is about until a little bit later. But Lambo, how's your mental health? How's your mental health check-in?
It's okay, just being happy every day. I see my little baby smile, honestly. So that always helps things in the day.
You have a baby?
A little baby.
Oh, is it a girl or a boy?
You don't know?
You said you had a baby. Is it a girl or a boy?
A girl.
How is she?
How old?
How old is she?
9 months.
Oh, that's an exciting time for you, having a baby. Having a baby that's 9 months, man. That's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna play a little game. Again, I'm just like winging this as I go along, y'all. I'm winging this as I go along. I have no outline. Go ahead and take a sip, child. You're gonna need it. So I have a game that I've played with several guests, and it's really simple. All you're gonna do, guest, is pick a number 1 through 7, and then I will ask you the corresponding question with the number that you select. So pick a number 1 to 7.
7.
I know you're not going to answer this.
Probably not. I might.
You have to answer every question. You said 7.
Yes.
Okay. How do you feel about traditional gender roles in relationships?
I think that traditional gender roles are good in traditional environments, but the modern environment is not traditional anymore. But as far as a man taking out the trash and a woman, making sure the laundry and stuff is done. I mean, I have a problem with that. I'm good with that. But again, women like to do yard work.
Ooh.
So a lot of them outside now are cutting grass a little bit, but I think that I'm cool with doing that. But those are, the traditional roles. Basically, I'm honestly the type of person that it's a man that I do whatever has to be done. It really doesn't matter, other than the laundry. That's the only thing I don't really like doing. So
You're in a relationship now?
I thought so.
Okay. So in your relationship, do you feel like you guys have traditional roles? Because I know you said that oh gosh, I know you said that you do everything except for laundry. So it seems like you are for traditional roles.
No, because I feel like I do some of the women's stuff too.
Oh wow, like what?
Help with the kitchen.
How do you help with the kitchen?
Help sweep. Help wipe up.
You sweep?
Occasionally.
Oh wow, I've never seen you sweep before. That's really interesting.
Help unload the dishwasher.
Huh. I guess you're doing that at midnight when nobody's watching. So traditional roles. So you're fine. I feel like when a lot of times when it comes to traditional roles is a very recurring conversation now amongst every platform. Everyone's talking about traditional roles, alpha, female, feminine, all the stuff like that. And I think that sometimes we lose sight of what traditional roles can be holistically, right? So when it comes to like traditional roles, I hear you say like, taking out the trash and stuff like that. But traditional roles could be like, building a house for your mate, are you married or are you?
Not yet.
Okay.
But traditional roles, working or staying at home, versus cooking or nothing, not cooking, being in the kitchen. Again, I think it's obviously a good life, from a male perspective, but it's just not reality these days. So
why do you think that?
Well, women are independent, so sometimes you're lucky if you get some, Chef Boyardee or anything to eat.
Wow, is that your situation?
I can at least, get some good bag lunches or some frozen dinners that are decent.
Okay. Wow. Huh. So traditional roles, I feel like this has kind of been a recurring conversation. I am all for traditional roles. I think it's just a conversation I think you have to have with your partner. But I think I'm for it. I'm really, really for it. I think a lot of men, it's so funny that you said women are just so independent, man. I hate that. Like, I hate that. Like, I feel like that's a lot of men's go-to. Like, women are just so independent, so I'm not going to do this. And I'm not saying you said that, but like, a lot of men's go-to is saying that women are so independent.
Well, you have to put that out there.
Women are so independent, so it's like, I'm not going to do this or I can't do this because my woman is so independent. But like I said on the last episode, like no woman wants to be just manly, independent woman. You know what I'm saying? I don't think most women, I would say 9.9 out of 10 women do not want to be
When I talk about independence, what I mean is the difference is with the independence is when you're leaving a home, or even if you're working from home and you're working a job and bringing money to the table, then you have an independence, which then also creates less time, and then it also can create, it obviously changes the dynamic of, the power in the household as well. So I think a lot of times that women who don't traditionally want to be alpha or, play that role end up falling into it just naturally if they don't really, or if they're not really cognizant of that, just based on what their lifestyle is. So, but again, I'm all for the modern where we can all do some of the roles, but it's just as long as a woman still can be traditional when she has the time to. So that's just, but I think that the people who can maintain traditional roles, that's nice for them, because these days, even with those things, women can do what they want on the side or whatever they wanted to do if they're actually in a traditional where a man works, a woman comes home and cooks and has the kids ready and, does all those things around the home.
So let me ask you a question. If you could close your eyes, and this can be a brief answer, but if you could close your eyes and you don't have to close your eyes, but if you close your eyes and just imagine your perfect traditional relationship in your eyes, what would it be? So I'll go first. So if I could close my eyes and imagine a perfect relationship in the traditional sense, I would, and this is a perfect world, so this is not reality, but if this was a perfect world, I would, in my traditional relationship, I would want to not, I want to say without thinking, not work, like be a stay-at-home mom with like a nanny, not just stay at home, but like have a little nanny. I would want to, I could do the cooking. I could hire someone because I hire somebody to clean, so I can continue to hire someone to clean. And I think if I didn't have to work, I would fully be down for the traditional housewife, you know what I'm saying? Like home, making sure the house is clean, the house is decorated, there's food on the table, there's groceries there, you know what I'm saying? I would be open to even serving my man if I didn't have to work, you know what I'm saying? And not only not work, like I think it's not work, but then it's also not work and then kind of be struggling or, have to get a small allowance. I want to not work, but still maintain my lifestyle. But I would be very open to, being the quote unquote traditional housewife, keep my husband happy in every way, traditional role. So like if you could close your eyes and think of what your perfect relationship would be from a traditional standpoint, in your own like perfect world, what would that look like?
Well, it looks similar to what you described.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you described the life of a real housewife, okay? And you need to have a seven-figure income and budget to be able to, or close, to be able to foster nannies, don't have to do anything. You got the chef, I mean, everything is taken care of. And for a woman to feel that way, she has to pretty much not do a lot of work because being a stay-at-home mom is a very challenging job.
Yeah.
It creates stress, and it also creates stress depending on what the budget is of the family. So part of the reason it's so important, for women to work, because also it helps a relationship just when there's just a little bit extra money on the table. It doesn't have to be a lot, just something, but not even a lot. It's just it's the psychological part of chipping in, and that's. But I think even in that traditional role, unfortunately, what happens is if a woman has the too much, any worth of herself, of what her goals of anything are can be less. But these days with social media, those lucky women are the ones that they just pop off online and do dumb stuff, So it's just different now. But there was a lot of depressed women living that traditional life where they had no way to express themselves. Now that women can, but obviously, traditional role would be simple, but I feel like I can foster that without being a real housewife. It really comes down to if your wife or your fiance, your woman, is willing to provide you that lifestyle, no matter how much money you make as a man. If you foster a comfortable enough environment for her to feel that way, because at the end of the day, a traditional role lifestyle for me would just be a perfect thing. Would just be able to come home, have my woman excited to see me, or after work, if we're together, excited to see me, give me a hug and kiss, occasionally have dinner ready, and just be excited to see me, just be energized and, wanting to do, sexy stuff for me a little bit too.
Right.
So,
and it's so funny because, even you saying like, come home and be excited to see me, like now, so many of us work from home, right? And so I know in my current situation, I work from home, my partner works from home. And so you can't be but so excited to see somebody that you're with all day, all night, seeing them all day. So that's another, we talk about traditional roles, like, well, tradition not so long ago was when most people were actually leaving the home to, go to work, missing their partner all day, and then coming back and kind of having that excitement of like, damn, I haven't seen you all day. Think about when there was no, like years ago, whether it was 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 2 years ago, when you were not working from home and you left the house and you and your partner may have been texting all day, or, even if before texting, you guys were calling each other and kind of building up that anticipation. It's just so different now because people work from home and a lot of couples work from home. A lot of people,
well, yeah, but that's not still the average person. Our situation is unique. There's other people, but it's unique for the masses, is what I'm explaining to you.
Right.
In a professional, white collar, or bluish white, because I feel like both of us are grinders, but at the end of the day, I would say that we have definitely a unique situation, and that's something for another show, to be honest. But I think that you know, there's so many different dynamics when it comes to these roles in our society today. A traditional role is not the same traditional, and I don't think, a man should honestly expect a woman to do all of those things, boom, 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 unless he has it like that for her.
Yeah.
And that's only going to be a couple men. So it's just, women, I guess it comes down to a man, if he can still provide a lifestyle that's comfortable for the psychology of the family, no matter what they have. When it's just one role, then a traditional role can work. Otherwise, a traditional role can't work. Yeah. It's just too much.
Yeah, great question. I mean, that'll be something that we can kind of expand on in another episode. But let's go ahead and get into the meat of things, guys. Thanks for playing that game.
I know it happens if we don't play your games. You shut the whole party down.
What?
Everybody has to go home.
Look at your phone. Oh my god,
it doesn't even make sense.
Look at your phone. Now, what do you mean by shut the whole party down? What does that mean? This episode that I just that we're going to have today is going to be a response to the episode that me and Dr. I'm speaking into existence, Dr. Cargyle had talking about 10 sex tips for the men. So we had to represent for the fellas and have a man come on the show and listen. I don't know what these tips are. I have not read them. I don't know what they are. I'm just going to be speaking for the women. But Lambo, or whatever he wants to call himself today, he has 10 tips that he has thoughtfully written down for women sex tips. Again, he has 10 scary sex tips for women that we're going to give to the ladies, and we're going to discuss it. So, let's start with your sex tip number 1. What is it?
I don't have any order number 1 for these sex tips. The way that I compiled this list, it was very fast. I actually was able to compile this list in less than 2 minutes. About as quick as you Minutemen out here listening. But if you're a grown and sexier audience, men aren't really Minutemen anymore, hopefully. But essentially, this list is what it has to come from a male perspective that a lot of men are going to be able to relate to, but it's what I believe in. So that's why it was so easy for me to come up with what I had here. If I was to try to sit here and think 1,000 times about stuff, it'd be fake. It wouldn't be authentic. That's what I do. I'm about authenticity. Okay. So first thing, there's no particular order on my list.
You don't have to yell.
I don't have an order.
Nobody said you had an order.
And if you guys saw what it looks like, you'd be laughing. You'd see how quick I came up with this damn thing.
1922 with crayons.
So this is not particular order. So
just give us just one tip and then we'll discuss, please.
Well, first, a woman needs to use tongue.
Can you expand on that, please?
Okay, so whatever a woman's doing with kissing, with oral sex, use the tongue anywhere else, how freaky you are, anywhere on our body, if you're using your tongue, it's going to arouse us. And we really like it. Okay, so that's definitely a tip.
Okay, so tip number 1, because we're going to talk about it, we're going to expand on it, we're going to have some dialogue on it, so please just calm the fuck down. So tip number 1 is use tongue. So you're saying that the women out here need to, if they're kissing their man, if they're giving their man oral sex, use tongue. That's a tip for women sexually.
Yes.
Okay.
For sure.
That's pretty much black and white. Okay. Now, what if you have someone who doesn't prefer to use their tongue or doesn't prefer spit or whatever the case might be? What do you suggest for them?
Well, they're not going to be satisfactory. I mean, you don't have to use as much spit. I mean, that's some of the porn stuff when when they're showing the ridiculous amount of spit, and that's sometimes too much. But a little bit of spit is necessary. Your mouth creates saliva, so let's not be ridiculous. And if you're not going to use your tongue or any spit, then you're not going to be satisfactory. So
now you're saying spit. So you're saying tongue and spit, or
no? The tongue is okay if there's not a lot of spit associated with it, just as long as you're using it a lot. It still can be good.
So what do you suggest for a woman who enjoys kissing, but their partner creates a lot of saliva, so it makes it less enjoyable?
Just to try it and see if anything.
What if they've tried it?
Then if they feel like giving up, that's up to them.
Okay, so now we're saying tongue and spit for tip number 1. What's your tip number 2?
Be clean.
Okay, you have to expand on these, Jason, because these are tips. You're giving advice, so,
Okay, so
expand.
You know, a woman obviously needs to be clean in all areas, okay? But especially her butt and especially the vagina, especially if she's had a long workout or unfortunately, you know, if she has a strong natural scent that over a long period of the day can get spicy. If that's the case, you know, you might want to freshen up a little bit, you know? So, you know, obviously your breath, you know, would matter a little bit as well.
A little bit? Now you want to kiss somebody, but their breath matters just a little bit?
That matters too. So those are the things that we need.
So
hopefully don't have a bunch of cornflakes in your hair either. I mean, you should have your, you know, I mean, you shouldn't be a bunch of flakes. I don't need no damn Head and Shoulders out here, you know.
Okay, so you're saying to be clean. So no scent? I mean, like, you're saying to be clean. So just take a shower,
on
basically?
the scent. Depends on the scent. Some women's scent is a little bit stronger. Okay. So it really, a woman has to know. But they might be okay. You know, a man is going to do what he has to do, especially if it's your, you know, dudes or whatever. But if you know, depending on the status of your relationship, whatever the case may be, you know, you need to be cognizant of the scent there, you know, and what's emitting from there.
So what would you recommend to the men if their woman has a foul scent? How do they navigate that kind of question, that kind of conversation with their woman?
That's very challenging.
Yeah. How would you handle that? Have you experienced that before?
Yes.
With who?
I don't know.
You don't know?
A woman from many years ago.
How many years ago?
Like 20, almost 16 to 20. It's a long time. So it's like, but again.
So how would you advise the men out here to navigate the conversation if their woman has a scent, a odor, vaginal smell, breath smell? How would you navigate that question? Like,
you'd have to dance around it and pretend like if they've been working out or something. Asking them if they've been working out, you know, or something like that. And then
what if they don't work out?
Damn, that's a tough one, you know, because now they're going to know you think they stink, you know.
So you don't think that should just be an open conversation?
If a woman's cool about it, and can't speak for how a woman would handle it, but a man should just tell her, look, you know, it's a little bit strong down there, you know. Can you just freshen up? I mean, I know you women want to do too much, so I think they should take it. You want to do too much for our hygiene, so you know, maybe if you can dish it, you can take it.
Yeah, I feel like in the instance, and please don't turn that down. I feel like in the instance where if a woman has a scent or a odor, I think that a woman would respect a man coming to them and saying, hey, there's a little scent down there. Now, I'm sure it would make things uncomfortable. I'm sure that it could even make the woman feel bad. You know what I'm saying? But if someone has foul breath or scent in their vagina or a scent in their butt, now, you want their butt to be extra clean?
It shouldn't stink.
So you're getting close to somebody's butt?
The penis is going to get close regardless.
Got it. Okay.
Men are notorious for missing, intentionally or unintentionally.
Ew. Okay. What's stereotype number 3?
Moan, but not too loud.
These are the dumbest tips. Moan?
Moan, but not too loud.
Explain. Please expand.
Okay, so what that means is, yeah, I want to know that you're enjoying this, but don't make it fake. You know, or even if you're loving it, too loud gets distracting if you're being too loud for too long. Okay, so just at least make me know that I enjoy this, that you're enjoying this, but don't over embellish or make it too ridiculous. Okay, so, unless you're gonna come, that's when I like that. But in the in between shit, if you're not having a nut, just moan, but not too loudly. But I don't want to hear you being silent.
How can you hear somebody being silent?
You're right. You can't. I don't want to feel silence. I mean, like we're in some sort of violin performance.
So what is silence? How does that affect you? Like what does that matter?
It's just a lack of it. It's not as gratifying. So the orgasm isn't going to be as gratifying.
So you I'm confused about what you said a little bit, because you're saying moan, but not fake, but not too loud, not too long. So if they're being honest, and if they're being real, and if their moan
I'm
is
giving
loud,
my opinion on it.
Right.
You can moan. I want you to moan. I don't want it to be. It's okay for it to be loud. Some, like I said, it's a caveat. If you're having a nut, okay, that needs to be loud. But I don't need it to be 1,000 times loud the whole time. But I still noise the whole time, but not loud the whole time, because that's distracting. So I'm just clarifying.
What is it distracting you from?
Now it's a porn show, and now it's just a little bit too much, Wow. It just is, that it's almost starts to feel like acting if it be like that. I mean, that's just too much.
Okay, so we have use tongue, clean your body, and moan, but not too long and not too loud. These are very interesting. What's your next tip?
Just switch positions. Okay, I mean, if you need me to elaborate on that, I will.
Every tip you need to elaborate on. This is
that's
advice
obviously
to men.
So
For women.
it's for women,
Advice to women. So
okay, I could come back for another thing if I decide to educate these niggas, but I could be later. But
please just give your advice.
At the end of the day, look, it's not going to be as gratifying if you just lay in one position. Okay, we need a minimum of 2 positions during a session. Don't need, unless it's a quickie and we specifically ask you for that beforehand. Okay? That's when it's okay to not do multiple positions. But on a normal session, it needs to at least be 2 positions, preferably 3. If it's going to be really satisfying. If it's going to affect the way we even are as our men, even, that you're doing what we need.
So let's just be realistic here, okay? Because again, we're of a certain age, and I know in my relationship, I'm sure in yours, we're of a certain age, and I'm just, when I think of these type of conversations, I don't think about me personally. I think about just like me along with the masses. You know what I'm saying? Along with people I talk to every day, because it's just a wide variety. But couples are married. Couples have families, they're working all day, you have a baby, you said, you have a small baby. There's so much going on, and you're emphasizing you would want 2 and 3 positions. So how often are you trying to have sex?
Well, you mean weekly?
How often are you
At least 3 times a week.
So okay. Every other day?
Yeah, I'm happy with that. We can go 2, but 2 positions isn't that hard to do.
Okay, so
and it doesn't have to be, each time doesn't have to be multiple positions. We're talking about sex tips for women, okay? You need to do at least 2 positions. That's not that challenging.
So what would be your favorite 2 positions?
Cow and doggy.
Cow?
Cowgirl. That's riding, okay?
Okay. Huh. All right.
Okay,
so we have hygiene, we have tongue, we have more than 1 position, and we have make noise when you have sex. What's the next?
How many is that, John?
You tell me.
4, 1, 2, 3.
This is so scary.
4. I think it's 4, right?
What's your next tip, please?
Move your ass. Okay, so let me expand on that. Just move it a little bit, because that's just going to excite us a little bit more. Because it's going to show that you're into it. It's going to show that we have something to put under control. Okay.
When you say move your ass, are you literally meaning an ass?
While a woman's having sex, move your ass. Okay, this is a sex tip.
Be specific. I don't know what that means. I don't know if you're meaning physics, like specifically.
Woman needs to push her butt back, move it around, whatever tricks she can do with her butt while you're having sex, or what she can do with it to excite. Right, whatever she's doing, she needs to do it. Okay, and it doesn't need to be stationary the whole time. Okay, that where a man is a dog and can still finish with that, but it's just not as satisfying. When we talk about sex tips, a sex tip is something that is satisfying, something that we want, something that is a memorable experience. Okay, and if you're trying to do that, it's essential that you move your ass.
So it's so funny that you say experience, because I don't know if you listen to the 10 sex tips that we have for men, But I remember distinctively in that conversation with the therapist, we were saying that sex should be an experience. And as I'm hearing you go through these like remedial tips,
here we go.
It's just like these are
disgusting.
These are like these are just the weirdest, most basic tips I've ever heard of. Like,
oh wow,
I feel like it's like, what are you even talking about?
No.
Like,
wait till you get the rest of this list.
this is so scary.
This is about what? This is my list, okay? This is the Lambo list.
This seems like
that's
a
what this
personal
is.
thing.
This is the Lambo list. I can't speak for any other man other than myself.
You can speak for your sexual experiences you've had in your past 40 years.
Okay, and I'm speaking on what I want, okay, from that. I'm using all 4 decades of that, okay?
Next.
Say our name / daddy.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No, this is very important because we don't need you to say our name all the time or a lot. If you say our name the whole time throughout sex, we'll still be okay with it, but it just becomes something that we'll think about each time during sex. It would just be like, damn, she keeps saying my name all the time. Like, this shit's kind of cool, but it's too much. Say our name a couple times though. Whenever.
Like, give
it doesn't
me the
have
context.
to be each time.
Like, just saying your name just randomly.
No, during sex. This is sex tips.
I know that.
Okay, when you're really feeling pleasured, when you're feeling good, when you're in the moment, when you're really wet, you're turned on, you're feeling it. That's when you need to say that. Okay, or daddy or poppy, whatever the heck you want to say. And I don't know the languages for it, but padre, I don't give a damn.
Are you fucking kidding?
I'm
sorry, I have to cut you off right there because, that's been something that was always interesting to me when I hear women call, don't slam that down. And there should be nothing else in there because I'm tired of you picking that shit up. Never again. You're never coming back on the podcast ever again.
You're doing nothing.
Okay, so like I have a dad. Like I'm very close to my dad. I'm a daddy's girl, and I could never imagine calling a man daddy. That's just really weird to me.
No, I am a daddy. I'm your daddy of your child.
No, you're not.
Oh, who is?
And number one, you have 2 daughters, and would you want your daughters?
I am a daddy.
So would you want your daughters calling another man daddy during intercourse?
I'm again. Any man cannot ever honestly answer that question, or because they honestly don't know or have any control of what their daughter's doing with any man in the bedroom. So it's for a man to
what's
think
the
that,
psyche behind
there's no
having
way.
a
So
woman
no, I'm telling you.
call
So I don't
daddy?
care I can't even put myself into that position. That's absurd because I have no control over it. But
what is the psyche behind hearing an adult woman call you daddy?
It just feels good. It feels like we're powerful. You respect us. We're in control. All of that. That's what it represents, and that you think that we're really the man, and so that's what it feels like. And it's not something that needs to be done repetitively. It's just something here or there. But saying our name, that feels good. A little bit. So those are just sex tips. And again, when a woman's doing that, she's winning.
What is she winning?
She's getting her man to be satisfied. She's getting her man to be happy. That's going to pay dividends for her.
Dividends?
Yes, he's going to want to be more spontaneous, take her out, give gifts, etc. I mean, this is a simple rule book. That's why I came up with this quick.
This is a book. This is a kindergarten book because
this is a thing that I think a lot of women are, when they're listening to my tips, they're going to realize that these are all excellent tips, and they're going to also understand that this is the realness of it. They're going to understand that they don't always do these things because they know that if they do these things, they're all in, they're really doing their thing, and they know that's going to satisfy a man. Problem is, women are so diabolical that they don't always necessarily want to do it. Sometimes they do, but these are things that might not be, something that's just, I was looking for a big word that I couldn't find, unfortunately. But clairvoyance is what I think, or something to that effect. It's not a clairvoyant revelation from my list here, but it is giving you women some tips you need to think about.
You can't make a list like that and then try to use a big word.
This list is this is a refresher, and that's what people need. They need a basic refresher, because I can promise a lot of the listeners are not going to be cognizant and not will have just forgotten what we used to do.
Next.
Let's see here.
This is so scary. This is
Well,
scary.
it is the podcast,
scary.
you know.
Oh my God.
Is that 6?
What does it matter? I want to know
1,
how
2,
many
3,
it is. Just
4,
give me your
5,
next
6.
one you
That's
haven't
6
said.
of them. That's 6 of them.
What's
I
the next
believe.
one you haven't said?
The next one is dance / make it clap.
Please
So,
explain.
look, a woman that can move, it's very attractive. It's sexual. You know, it's a sex tip. It's a it's a what's the damn thing like oysters? You know, it's not a hypochondria. It's a damn. I'm trying to think what the damn thing is. Okay, but all it does is turn men on.
Aphrodisiac,
Yeah,
man?
aphrodisiac.
God.
That's what I'm looking
Is
for.
it your major English? What's happening?
I just can losing some of these words. Look, it's an aphrodisiac if you can dance or make it clap.
A
Whether at the bar,
hypochondriac.
going out. That has to do with DNA that's going to be embedded in you afterwards. But the bottom line is, that's what it's about. Make us excited. Give us some eye candy, okay? We want eye candy. We want something to be satisfied. We need more visual. We need something that we can remember, staying in our mind. If you're dancing, if you're doing your thing with that, and if you have the skill to clap, man, for our private show.
So for people who don't know, what does that mean, clap?
When you arch a little and let your butt cheeks move back and forth. And if they can touch, you're doing your damn thing.
Have you
Okay?
experienced that before?
Only a few times. I was impressed by each occasion. But that's something that, again, that's a tip. That's a sex tip. Right? And again, I'm getting more outside the box. You didn't know I had a few other tips.
I mean, I feel like so. I feel like what another way of saying it for 10th grade and over will be like visual. Like you guys want eye candy, so be visual. So I guess another
dance or make it clap. No, specifically move, dance, do something like that, or clap. That's what I'm saying.
What if they just clap their hands?
We playing bingo?
Next step, please.
That's 7 of them so far.
Why are you even doing that? Just give me the one you haven't said.
Be naked, okay? No clothes. Look, I would prefer not to have sex and I have to pull up a skirt. I have to pull off some pants. I have to pull off some shorts or top. I don't like that shit. I want you completely naked. I want to feel the titties. I want to see the back. I want to see the arching and the curves. I want to see everything.
You sound like a rapist.
Okay? I need you naked. Okay? That is a sex tip for women, okay? You want your man to be turned on? Get naked. I like the way it feels when my skin is on skin.
Ugh.
Okay? That's what I like. So, be naked.
But when they're done, can they put their clothes back on? Because, like, I know in my situation, like, I don't like a man being naked in the bed and having his penis leak all night long. And then it's like he ain't washing no clothes. He's not washing no sheets. His baby is not on those sheets. So at the end of the day, like, if you want your woman naked, then you need to also, do what she's asking as well. But let's say, I'm thinking for other women. So let's say a woman is self-conscious about her body. And maybe that's why she doesn't want to be naked. Now, that ain't me, child. But let's say a woman is...
Looks like it.
I'm sorry?
That's what it seems like.
How would you know?
Here we go.
Let's say a woman is
horrible.
so, like, for example, in my previous podcast, I guess you did not listen to, I just had a baby. I just had a baby as well. And so
our baby, you did not just have a baby.
You don't know what I just said. You don't even know me like that.
It's almost been a year. You ain't almost have a baby. But I'll let you continue, child.
Did you read the text I sent you?
No, and I'm not, and I don't
you need
plan
to.
on
Like,
it.
honestly, you need to. Honestly, real talk. You need to. ASAP. Like, seriously. I would not. Seriously, I'm being serious. Please.
Okay.
You're not even doing it. Look at it now. Because I'll pause.
Saw it.
I'll stop. In my previous podcast, we were talking about, if you have a baby, I know for me, again, let me back up because I got sidetracked. So I had a baby not that long ago, and like less than a year ago, way less than a year ago. And I know that up until recently, I felt very self-conscious because I'm used to being a little bit more of a certain body type. So in that case, or let's say a woman has just gained weight because women gain weight, you know what I'm saying? Women can feel very self-conscious about their bodies. And so it's up to, I feel like, their partner to reinforce and you know, explain to them and make them feel comfortable to be naked.
I agree
you know what I'm
that.
saying?
Did I reinforce that I was still attracted with a bigger body? Did I provide that a reinforcement?
I think that sometimes too much reinforcement is too much. Like me
Okay,
personally,
so here we go. So
let
so
me
let me
no wait.
no, let
Let me
me
finish. Let me
continue.
finish. So like, I know for me, too many compliments for me are so annoying. Like I don't like too many compliments because to me, if you're constantly giving me compliments, number one, it doesn't feel genuine. Because it's too much. It's never like, oh, well, this really looks good because now you never say that. So I know if you're saying this now, it must be good because you never say that. But if you're like, I could look like Shrek and you're gonna say I look good. You know what I'm
No, I
saying?
won't.
Like, you know,
I don't like the way that the rollers look. But at the end of the day, I can live with it. But the bottom line is, you know, uh, let's move on to the next one, man. This is ridiculous. We've extrapolated on this. I mean, this tip here,
so
it's
be
pretty
naked,
simple. You need to
yeah.
be naked. I mean, just this is about. She always wants to argue, but this is about
Here we go.
satisfying a man and giving a woman the right tips.
Next.
Pull on the tip of the penis when given head.
Please explain.
You just need to be able to stimulate that area, whether a man is circumcised or uncircumcised. That's going to be
It's somewhat
the most
you done
sensitive
before.
area.
So I was like,
That's horrible. I know it sounds ridiculous, you know, for me to say something like this, but you know, I'm just really trying to help men
So
out with this. That's the
explain,
reason
like
I'm even
explain,
mentioning this
give
one.
a detailed explanation. I don't even know what that means. Pulling the tip.
It just means when you're sucking on it, you need to pretend like you're trying to pull off a bottle, and you don't have no hands, and you're just trying to pull like some sort of, and you know, sort of little bottle or some sort of little. You're trying to bob for an apple. You're trying to bob for an apple. Well, so, you know, the tip ain't but so big. You know, you're trying to bob. If you're doing the right job, it's gonna swell up though. But you're trying to bob for some sort of apple on that thing, and you just pulling it and just trying to peel it. You know, that's what it should be like. If a woman is really doing that part correctly.
So basically, when you're giving oral sex, you're saying to pull on your top of your penis as if you're bobbing for an apple.
Well,
that's your tip.
Yeah, you can't use it. You can't, you know, for that, you really should, the hands aren't necessary for that. And if you're doing that correctly, you won't even need hands. Okay. So that's why I gave the bob for an apple analogy.
Is that your explanation?
Yes. I think when people listen to this, they can do that. I think we're getting to the last sex tip. I think we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think we're at 10.
Okay, what's your top? What's your 10?
We're number 10.
What
These
is
are,
it?
again, we're in no particular order. But this is another. Tell us when you want us to come. Okay? I want to know, like, because I need to know when you want me to nut.
What does that
okay?
even mean?
It's very, it's mentally stimulating for a woman to be satisfied and want the juice.
So what if it's
Okay?
10 seconds in? Are you gonna do it?
And this is the horrible thing. That I just gave you women the secret to turn your man into a minute man. If you want that nigga, you don't want that nigga, that lame, to get off you. If he ain't satisfying you right, if you want him to get off, if he's breaking you off and giving you some bread, depending on the diversity of our listeners, if he's giving you some bread, you might know the secret. Just say, "Oh, daddy, I want you to say something crazy," and that man's gonna be skeeting like a mug. Men are psychological.
So let me just back up here. So in my relationship, if I tell my partner, "Hey, daddy, I want you to come," then he'll go ahead and nut quick.
No, I'm going to laugh if it's not genuine, because I'm going to laugh and it's actually going to make me harder to nut, because now I'm no longer serious. You know, this is a serious game for a man to try to pleasure a woman. So,
"Hey, daddy, I want you to come."
No, that would make me soft, you know, probably, you know, because that shit I'd start laughing so hard. Then I just have to, that shit would mess the sex up. Because a man can tell if it can't be so fake, and a man, if they have been with a woman, knows her personality. A man knows a woman's personality, and if she's
I don't think so,
because
because if they did, they wouldn't do certain things.
No, a man is hardwired after a certain amount of time.
You would
it
think
needs
so.
different treats, as Steve Harvey mentioned. Needs dog treats, essentially. But that's what men need. Women have to. You know, it's so funny. Women play a role when they're done with a relationship and plot to get out of a relationship, but they don't calculate hard enough how to please a man to get what they want out of a relationship. So that's something that is really baffling to me. But If women would do that, they could be satisfied and be happier with the relationship they already have.
Are those all your tips?
Unless you need me to come up with 11 off the top, that's 10 tips.
So go through them really quickly. Just list them again and just back to back to back.
You're right. That's that. So everybody can write this down. You better write this down. I mean, I'm gonna take 2 seconds. In no particular order, but just I'm gonna go top to bottom.
Stop saying that as if it make a difference.
Again, number one in no order. You need to use tongue. Okay. You also need to moan, but not too loud. Okay. Sometimes it can be too loud, but not the whole time. You need to switch positions. We don't want you to just lay there most times. We need 2 positions at least. Please. Move your ass. We don't need you just there like a postmat. Okay? What are you doing? Okay? Yes, we're a dog, but at least do something for us. Stimulate us mentally. Say our name / call us daddy. Okay, again, this is about stimulating a man mentally. This is about our psychological, boosting us up, okay? Don't overdo this either because it's going to sound like it's acting. We don't need that. We need something that at least seems genuine.
Daddy.
When you call us daddy, we know when you call us daddy, we know it
I
needs
would
to
never
sound
call
right.
no man. I've never, and nor would I ever call any man daddy.
Call me daddy.
Out of respect for my father, honestly. I would never do that.
Here we go. But call us, you at least say our name. If you're not going to call us daddy, you need to at least occasionally say our name. Lambo is good enough. Okay. Be clean. I mean, again, this is just self-explanatory. Make sure that all areas are clean and make sure that, again, if you have a little bit more scent, I mean, it's what it is. Some men like that scent though. If it's super strong and you know what it is, depending on the stage of the relationship, women, you better tighten that up.
What about pheromones? Do you know what that is?
I mean, that's just a natural thing that sets in, or whatever it is what it is.
So I had a friend, a mutual friend of ours. Are
we gonna finish this list, Sean? Let me run down this list. But you want to talk about pheromones? No, unless you really want to talk about it.
Well, just a quick thing. So, I have a friend, and he was telling me that he likes sometimes when his woman goes to the gym, he likes to have sex without a shower. Basically, the woman's worked out, or she's been running, or she's done this and she's done that.
That's a fetish.
That's a fetish.
A lot of men. So this tip that I'm saying about be clean, there are men out there who want to smell ass and rank pussy. Okay, there are those weirdos out there. Okay, women, and you know it. Okay, because these men will still take it if you stink. Okay, it's horrible. But it's the truth because men are dogs.
Do you think would you like a woman if she just worked out? Would that bother you?
If her scent naturally is pleasing, then it wouldn't turn me off. It depends on how I felt about her scent.
So your current partner, how was her scent?
She's usually pretty clean. I don't usually she won't give it to me when she's been working out most times, so I have no way to evaluate.
Now I know that you told me of a story where your partner didn't wipe herself. And you still licked her butt.
I did not do that.
Yes, you did.
I did not.
You told me that. You said that you was having sex with somebody and that they had just took a shit.
That's disgusting.
You did.
I did not.
Go through your list. I'll keep it between us.
I don't know what you're talking about on that.
Finish your list.
Next thing on the list, pull the tip of the penis.
Like you're bobbing for apples?
No, not like you're bobbing for an apple. That's only if you don't understand. That's why I gave that analogy. If a woman has any understanding on how to give head, she should know how to do that. It needs to.
That tip is very interesting because I would never think that a man would want the tip of his penis pulled on. I've never heard that before.
With your tongue. Okay? You heard the use tongue, so everything tongue has to be included. Okay, so you're pulling, but you're using your tongue at the same time. Okay, I know you might edit this podcast, but you're gonna need to listen to it. Because this is gonna be you. This is an educational podcast for any woman.
The fact that you listen to the 10 tips for men says a lot.
I listened to most of those tips. I actually was in the studio, listening. Okay. So let's give the last tip here if that's what you want me to do. Tell us when you want us to come. Okay.
So ridiculous.
Tell us you want our nut. Tell us you want what you want.
What if we don't want your nut?
Then tell us that shit anyway.
What if we
that's gonna work out better for you.
Tell me this: if you're saying to tell us that we want your nut, could we also like reframe it and say get this over with?
No, because that's not satisfying and make our dick soft most of the time.
What's the difference? What's the difference? Get this over with or nut? It's the same thing.
No, it needs to sound like you want it. Again, so when you tell a nigga that you want his nut or his cum, again, the women out here who have been freaks, who've satisfied men, who have, know what it is, they're going to know what I'm talking about. Who really, and they're the ones who are reaping the benefits of how their man treats them, etc. Now, some, men aren't going to treat you good anyway because they'll find another woman who's going to do that because they're just going to use the law of averages and not highlight enough women to find freaks, and then there's a lot of men they're going to pay just to make sure that happens. So, again,
have you paid for sex before?
No.
Tell the truth.
Why would I pay?
I don't know what you've done.
Yeah, I know. You've been going on here spewing propaganda this whole podcast, but hopefully that gets you a couple more viewers.
What kind of propaganda that's for you?
I don't know. This is just ridiculous. You're ridiculous. I just hope that the ladies can get something out of this podcast.
You know what's scary? You know what's very scary? Like, I don't like.
It's ridiculous.
What are they going to learn from this? I just don't know. What are they going to learn from this? Bob for Apple.
This is a refresher.
Call you daddy. Jiggle your butt. Take a shower. Like, really?
There's at least 6 other tips that you didn't mention.
Pulling your penis with, like, that sounds ridiculous. Like you're bobbing for apples. That's
important. If you guys use any one of these tips, it's going to improve your sex game as a woman.
Let me ask you this. Out of all your tips, what's the number one you think? Most important?
That's tough. Several of these are, there's hard to just put one.
They're all so good, huh?
There's a number of them that are very important.
What's your top? What's your number one?
I want women to use tongue.
One thing about me, and I know that I have discussed this with my friends. Shout out to Karaoke Queen. Shout out to Jam. Shout out to Mel's Angels. Shout out to Karaoke Queens. Shout out to Jam. Shout out to Mel's Angels. I gotta say that twice. Not a bitch I know like no spit, like no wet kiss.
Okay, it's what
nobody like
who
that.
Who cares what women think? I'm just telling. This list is not about a rebuttal. You can do that on another show. This list is about
a conversation.
Tips for women.
This is a conversation.
That's what this list is about, child. This is educational, and they don't need to be sidetracked by your banter.
It's not my banter. This is conversation. This is literally conversation. So at the end of the day, if you're giving a tip and I'm telling you what women are saying, then I need you to be able to speak to that. So if a woman is in a situation where she's like, I have seen things where I'm trying to think of an experience I've had. Like I remember I had an ex, and I remember he had, oh my God, and I've told my friends about this, and I remember talking about this. He had that spit in the corner of his mouth, and while he was talking, and it made me just think, like, that's like, I don't know if you've ever seen it, because I could have, I don't know. But you know how like people be talking and like spit is just gathering in the corners of their mouth? Women look at shit. Women are very detailed. So if your woman was looking at you and seeing that you're like, let's say a nigga smoke and he's just dripping spit on while he's rolling up a piece of weed. That's disgusting. Nobody wants. That's disgusting. Like, you got that much spit in your mouth that is strings of spit hanging from your mouth. That's a lot. Swallow. Like, you're talking about spit. Okay, man wants a woman to kiss him. Woman wants a man to have less spit. Compromise, swallow your spit. Be very intentional about when you're kissing your woman not to have no spit in your mouth.
Again, this is the list for women. Women can have her rebuttals. Women, again, you can follow this list and satisfy your man or not. It's up to you.
Listen, Jason, Thank you so much for being on the show. These are great tips that you took so long to come up with. Where can we find you?
Off the grid, you can't find me, man. I'll find you first.
We know who can find you and who will find you. Jason, we've known each other for a while. We've known each other for a while. We have built a great friendship over the years, and
Over the last 6 months, child.
And you know, what a blessing to be able to meet someone, and you know, grow a friendship with. It's a blessing.
Thank you.
Do you have any last words for the listeners, child?
Just, you just keep putting the podcast on replay. Pause it, screenshot, whatever you need to do to make sure whatever the tips that work the best that you need to remember and the analysis behind it makes sense.
What analysis?
Well, we've been on here for 57 minutes.
Listen, congrats on your baby. Congrats on everything you got going on for you. It's been a pleasure having you here in my home, in my studio. I'm just grateful to have you here. They can't find you anywhere, so I guess that's no.
Absolutely. I just wish you luck on this podcast.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I remember when I first started how you helped me in the beginning. You were with me for the first couple of shows, and that really meant a lot to me that you helped me kind of get this knocked off. You know what?
You'll have to be a real Melanie P follower, okay, to understand the last time I was on, to even know the diversity of the catalog, just to see some of my previous shows. So, if you're a real Melanie P follower, then you understand my dynamic and what I bring to the table on this podcast. And I'll be back if the followers request, I might come back for another cameo appearance.
What? Child, this damn. Jason, what are we drinking tonight? Tell the listener what we're drinking tonight.
The rest of whatever you have left was whatever I can find up, child.
We're drinking gin, and he came over. I gave him a glass of gin with a little bit of guava, mango, ice, chilled, and he performed pretty well. But listen, guys, thank you so much for listening. This is episode, I think, 24, 25, y'all. I'm coming up on my number 1 year anniversary. Listen, we got big things popping off. I think I'm about to have me a live show here in Charlotte, North Carolina really soon, guys. I'm excited about that. Tickets are going to be in the damn Eventbrite. Don't fuck with me. Don't play with me, y'all. Don't play with her. She about to have a whole event live taping that's going to be so fire. I'm going to be dropping things on my Instagram to kind of give you guys tickets for that. This is the hottest show, the hottest podcast in North Carolina, in Charlotte, North Carolina. Listen, we ain't playing no games. We here, we getting active. We are getting our licks back. We getting our licks back for anybody who watches News Network like we do. We just having a good time, man. We just having a really good time out here. I'm just really happy that tomorrow Wednesday, child. I'm just happy as hell that I'm halfway through this week. It's been stressful. It's been a stressful work week, y'all. Y'all have no idea. I did not take this damn job. It's horrible. God is good. If you have any questions about anything, follow me on Instagram. You know what to do, guys. I'll see y'all next episode. Bye.